And welcome to another segment of 10 Count. I'm joined by Michael Baca and Michael Montero of UCN Live. Guys, as the Timex Social Club once said, how did rumors get started? Guys, where there's smoke, there is fire. October 15th, Top Rank has sealed off a date, or put in a date, for Las Vegas for the return of Manny Pacquiao, potentially against Adrien Broner. Guys, I don't know about you guys, but give me a pen. Sign me up. I like it. Call me nuts.
We've seen crazier things in boxing. I think the promotion will be a lot of fun. Obviously, you got the good guy, the bad guy thing. It would work for Vegas. I think that kind of fight belongs in Vegas. And stylistically, where both guys are at in their careers, I actually think it'd be a pretty entertaining scrap.
Mike?
I'll believe it when I see it, first of all, and they announce the fight. Selfishly, considering I saw Manny Pacquiao face Tim Bradley live in April, it was the only time I've ever seen Pacquiao live. I kind of wanted that to be his last fight, and I felt like it would have been a good time. He was elected to senator recently and was sworn in, so I don't know how that is going to play out involving this potential Broner fight. How could you say no to this, though, considering the promotion? Considering Broner is such a very unique personality.
That's a very kind way of putting it there, Mike. Very diplomatic.
I like Adrien Broner
Me too.
because whether you like him or not, he forces you to care one way or the other.
Right.
And in the ring, it translates into a potentially entertaining fight. Saying that, it's a hell of a lot better of an opponent than Ashley Theophane for Broner.
Let me just say one thing about Broner, and I like the problem. Okay, I'm not trying to wash away any of his problems, but it's been proven on the PBC platforms, if there's a fighter or two that makes a difference, that moves the needle rating-wise, it is Adrien Broner, and it's been proven on Spike recently, that fight against Theophane. Yeah. I think there's a storyline here, and listen, the Pacquiao fight that you referenced against Tim Bradley, the third chapter that nobody asked for, that was about as uninspired a choice as you could make, and nobody gave a damn. And that pay-per-view, to put it in Chris Bermanism, went below the Mendoza line. I mean, Arum literally lost $10 to $15 million. And I think if you can get this fight done, and it's not a certainty, it's just a rumor that's actually very true, I think it does show that there is a real détente between Al Heyman and Bob Arum.
Right, and this would be, maybe the first of what could be many big fights down the road. Obviously, you're taking the problem, and then you're taking Pacquiao, an established name, and putting something together here. It's a bridge that can maybe lead to some better fights down the road. So I would welcome it, but at this point, there's so many rumors on Twitter, especially related to Pacquiao and Floyd. I just don't.
Well, that's what I want. Listen, that's the one fight. If Floyd and Manny are going to come back, and I think it's almost an inevitability that they will. Fine, but I've always chosen, give me fight variation. Give me other matchups. I don't need to see May 2nd, 2015 again, Mike.
I think both promotions, regardless of what you say, would want that fight, considering it's going to be a moneymaker. So that you got to consider that. And, Adrien Broner, he's I don't know how... Going back to his jump from 135, or 130 I should say, all the way up to 140 and then 147, was such a bad move in retrospect for him. He was dominating at 130 and 135, and I still feel like he should be there. And this fight would obviously be at 147, I would presume. And
I don't know.
I would think so.
Pacquiao could be. I think there'll be.
You think so?
There'll be the typical Pacquiao catch weight in between 140 and 147 over this weekend. Right, and I spoke to Freddie Roach, who, by the way, calls Adrien Broner a friend, and he meant that. He says he's actually a very nice, friendly guy. So obviously he's never bowled with them. Now, with that said, I think stylistically, if you look at Broner, he throws a lot of punches at times, and he plants his feet. Yes. And Freddie says, Steve, the thing I like about this fight, it's actually a fight. You don't have to look for Broner inside that ring.
Yeah, it'd be entertaining. There's going to be exchanges. The question for me would be with Pacquiao. He's long in the tooth. This would be a long layoff for him. What would he look like? And could the problem cause some problems for Pacquiao early on? Can Manny at this stage make adjustments? I think it would be an entertaining fight, and we could see a knockout.
Well, I don't think it's that long of a layoff. He fought April 9th, and if he fights in October, that's actually, I mean, Mike,
I just forgot. I forgot about the April 9th fight.
Well,
that tells you how uneventful it was.
Well,
Holy shit.
the audience out there, they forgot to order it on pay-per-view. And I do think the interesting thing about this would be the side story, Mike, the Heyman-Arum quote-unquote peace accord. What would the undercard look like? Who'd be involved? What would it lead to? But I do think pay-per-views are about not always the best fights, unfortunately. It is about the personalities, and that's one thing Broner does bring.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is a good, it's a step in the right direction for the entirety of boxing, crossing that political divide. And I think that would be good for the sport. And, it's two high-profile guys. Would you guys consider it a 50-50 fight?
I'd make Pacquiao slight favorite.
55-45?
60-40.
And I'll
That's
say
still
this much.
50-50 in boxing terms.
I'll say this much. It'll outsell Ward Kovalev Ward.
Yeah.
It'll outsell
I agree.
Canelo Smith.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay,
And Crawford Postal, I was going to say. Yeah, it'll outsell those fights.
So there you have it. It may or may not be Pacquiao Broner October 15th. Stay tuned for more details. On behalf of Michael Baca and Michael Montero, this is Steve Kim for the 10 Count.